Hi, today we are going to make eclairs with chocolate frosting and vanilla cream. Microwave safe plate. And I'm going to spray this with some cooking spray, sugar, flour, eggs, butter, and almond extract. Happy New Year. It is mid to late January already. I don't know how that happened. So today we're gonna make some eclairs, chocolate eclairs. Many or most of you know that I'm from Baltimore originally. It's my hometown. And there is an institution in Little Italy called Vigorously. It's a bakery, an Italian bakery. And in addition to their cannolis, which are the best I've ever had, they have this eclair there that is ginormous. This isn't a joke. It's like 5 pounds. It's my favorite sort of like pastry dessert, like by bar none, right? And literally like sort of like last meal, kind of situation. I mean, I'd have my mom make me granny sauce for dinner and meatballs and the whole thing, and then I would ask someone to really quickly run to Vacaro's and get me the chocolate eclair. They have smaller versions, but it's delicious. I'd like to say that this is going to be that good. It's not. It's the best I can do. So there's sort of 3 parts to this recipe. The choux pastry, which is the pastry part, which we're going to do first. The cream, of course, and then the chocolate on the top. So I would not necessarily classify this as like an easy dish, but perhaps easier than maybe you think it is. So yeah, let's just do it. For the choux pastry, which if you watch any Food Network baking shows or Great British Bake Off or any of that stuff, you've heard them talk about choux pastry before. And there are, there's 5 ingredients: butter, water, flour, salt, and eggs. I'm using salted butter, so I'm going to leave the salt out, per usual. So really only 4 ingredients. So we're going to start over at the stove. Yeah, so I'm going to move over there. Okay, so we're going to start out with a 1/2 cup of butter, which is 1 stick. Well, I guess we'll start out by turning the stove on. Kind of like maybe a medium-ish heat. So a 1/2 stick of butter and a cup of water, as we say in Balmer. A cup of water. And we're going to let this melt together. So actually, speaking of Baltimore, I was there last weekend for a show that my friend Contavious, he's a performer, he released an album recently, which is called Bohemian Beatbox. Check it out on Apple Music. And anyway, he was doing a show at a club downtown in Baltimore, and I was helping out and decided to turn this up a little so it goes faster. I don't go out that often. So I was like, I'm gonna get dressed, dress up, not dress up. I was in jeans, but I had heels on, and I was I'm gonna get dressed up. I'm gonna do it. I'm get ready. I watched a YouTube video on how to put eyeshadow on. I'm 48, by the way. First time I've ever done that. This was literally like following her directions. And, you know, not much I can do with my hair, but, so yeah, I was like feeling pretty good because I don't generally, I mean, this is what I normally wear. So, it was kind of fun to get dressed up and kind of go out clubbing, as the kids say, or not. I was in like, I don't know, 3 pairs of Spanx and like a roll of duct tape to put everything like where it needed to be. But yeah, I was feeling pretty good about it. Anyway, check out Contavious Jones' Bohemian Beatbox. Some good stuff. Okay, so as this melts, it's almost done here. It's going to come to a boil. And you'll see what happens next. Hopefully I'll be able to show you. Okay, so the butter is melted and I've got it to a boil. And now I've reduced the heat to low, and I'm going to add 1 cup of flour to this and mix it with a wooden spoon. And just try and get the clumps out and kind of stir vigorously. And we're going to stir this to kind of cook the flour and get the kind of the flour taste out of it, and till it gets to sort of forms into a ball, which is already sort of doing. But really you kind of want to smush it like this so you can get out any of those little like clumps of flour. So we'll just do this for, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute or so. Keep going so that it's not going to stick to the bottom, and you can kind of see the consistency now of the dough that we've made. So I'm just going to cook it for a few more seconds. Okay, so we've got it to our sort of ball stage. You can see how hot it is. I'm going to dump it into a mixing bowl. Okay, I let it sit here for just maybe about 2 minutes just to get like some of the heat out of it, because at this point we are going to add 4 eggs. And because this is so hot, we have to be really fast, especially with the first egg, and get the mixture going pretty high so that our egg doesn't scramble when it hits the heat. So you just kind of want to be ready for that part. So I just let it sit for a couple minutes just to kind of get the, you know, some of the heat out. I'm using my hand mixer because I just feel like it'll give me a little bit more control. I don't know why, but that's why. Okay, so I'm going to put the first egg in, and I'm going to get it going really fast. This makes me nervous. All right, here we go. Egg number 1, and then I'm going to mix on high. Egg number 2, 1 at a time. And egg number 4. Okay, so I've mixed in the 4 eggs. You can see the consistency has changed a bit. This is what it's meant to look like. And we're going to put this into a pastry bag. And then we're going to pipe this dough onto a cookie sheet with a parchment paper. Get that lined up. Okay. Take our pastry bag, and I don't even need a tip or anything. You want to cut it so it's like maybe like a 1-inch opening, something like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but like a 1-inch opening, just a round opening. If you do not have pastry bags, don't run out and get pastry bags. Basically, it's just as easy to use a gallon Ziploc. So you're just going to use it like a pastry bag. Just snip right here and then make sure that you seal it, or at least most of it, so that when you're squeezing, it's not spilling out of the top. So that works fine. So I'm going to go ahead and fill my pastry bag with the dough. Yeah, love you too, son. Teenagers are jackasses. Okay, so I've got all of the choux pastry dough into my bag here. I'm going to seal it up a bit and then pipe it out onto my parchment paper. So we can make eclairs, or you can also make cream puffs. Same stuff, same ingredients, same everything, just a different shape. So you want to kind of pipe it to about, make maybe like a 4-inch, whatever size you want. You really cannot go wrong here. So I think I'm going to go this way. Can you even see this? God, I'm so bad at that. So we're going to do like maybe a 4-inch, it's very sticky dough. Oh my. So yeah, whatever size you really want. So you can do the long eclair shape. So I'll do a few of those. And then we'll do a few cream puffs. Which in this case, what we'll do is just, God darn it, we'll just squeeze it straight down. Again, whatever sizes you want. You want little handheld mini, like 1-biters, just maybe make a smaller opening in your bag and do that. But I'm making kind of big ones here. Okay, hold on, guys. So penises or balls, whichever you prefer. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this into a 450-degree oven for 15 minutes. Then we're just gonna turn the oven down, leave them in there, turn the oven down to 325, and then cook about another 20 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer for 10 once I turn the heat down and check them. And you want them to, be kind of crispy on the outside. If you tapped it, it would sound hollow. And then when they come out, I'll show you the next step. Okay, these suckers have just come out of the oven. They look pretty good. They puffed up nicely. They sound like they're supposed to. They no longer look like male body parts. So next step, and this is why we need to sort of hurry, right when it comes out of the oven, what you're going to want to do is poke a hole in, I'm going to go on this side, just sort of poke a hole with something. I'm using a chopstick, and this is so that the steam can escape. Otherwise, it will, what's the word I want to use? Like it'll flatten, it'll get like really soggy on the inside, and it will definitely not work. It'll deflate. That's the word I'm trying to use. They will deflate. So poke a hole in all of them. Also, this hole that you're poking will be the entry point for the cream. So just sort of find the logical area on each one and let the steam escape. Did I already do this one, you guys? Okay. And you want to do that like ASAP when it comes out. Okay? So next we are going to make the filling, the cream for the filling. Okay, so we are going to whip up our filling. We're going to start with a vanilla pudding mix out of the box. You can go ahead and make your own custard if you want. This works. This is fine. So we're going to actually just follow the directions on the pudding mix, which is to add 2 cups of milk and whisk it for a few minutes. Okay, so we are letting this pudding mixture set here for a bit. And in the meanwhile, we are going to whip up a little bit of cream. You could just put the pudding right in, and that will be fine. But we're just going to elevate it just a little bit by adding some fresh whipped cream and mixing it in. So 1 cup of cream. I had left this bowl and the beater in the fridge for a little bit, just so it's nice and cold, because that means it'll whip up faster. So 1 cup of cream is going into here. Almost had a baking fail. I was whipping the cream and it was not whipping. I was using Trader Joe's shelf-stable whipping cream, which I keep handy in case I need whipping cream and, you know, I don't have it, which was the case. And I'm obsessed with Trader Joe's. Who isn't? And I almost got super mad at them. Not that it would have changed my shopping habits there at all, but it whipped. So you want it to whip to, you know, what they would call soft peaks, basically till it looks like whipped cream. And to this, we are going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just a little bit of salt. We are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. In this case, we are making a vanilla cream. I'm going to use, you know, good vanilla, not the fake stuff. A teaspoon of this. And we are going to use a 1/4 cup of confectioner's sugar. Okay, I'm going to mix that up. Okay, we're going to take our whipped cream and we are going to dump it into our pudding. And then we're going to fold it in. Fold it in. Fold the cheese. Speaking of things I'm obsessed with, if you don't watch Schitt's Creek, I'm not sure if we can be friends anymore. The best show on television. So we're going to gently fold. So we don't want to knock the air out of the whipped cream that we've just whipped up. So yes, I'm obsessed with also, if you know me, you know I'm also still obsessed with Lizzo. That woman is fierce. Love her. Listen to her all day long. Lip syncing. This looks pretty thin, which is a little concerning. So what I'm going to do is stick it in the fridge and let it kind of maybe, it's a little thin. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. So I'm going to stick this in the fridge and I'll be back in a second and we are going to make the chocolate that will go on top.